out on our, you hear from us, you know us, and we're critiquing these performers. But if you don't know us, I'm Ange, this is Colt. We were last in Durham with Aladdin.
Yeah, so we were there with the National Tour of Aladdin. I think we both toured through there a couple of times. I know I was there with a Chorus Line and High School Musical, and I think the Pink Tour.
Oh, yeah.
I know we went somewhere in North Carolina, but either way, I love being there. So it's the best. Yeah. And you've been there
a bunch of times.
A lot.
Can't even really remember, but you guys got some good biscuits down there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's just everything. I'm obsessed with biscuits because I'm originally from Georgia, and I like every holiday, especially the winter holidays, so Christmas, Thanksgiving, that stuff. We wake up, and then the first thing I do in the morning is make a batch of biscuits, and like that's our like sit down chill time, and we watch like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So when we're touring, everybody knows that when you find a good biscuit place, like you tell Colt, ooh, I will do some damage.
All right, so we're going to get started with Robert. I'm going to spotlight him, and everyone that's not performing, if you could mute yourselves other than Colt and Ange.
All right. We're going to mute ourselves too, just to make sure.
Okay. Awesome. So whenever you're ready, and if you want to introduce yourself, where you're from.
Yeah. Hi, I am Robert Evans from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, home of Biscuitville.
Yes.
Which is great. I am going to be doing a monologue from the Michael Cunningham novel, The Hours. Mm-hmm. It is with Richard, who is dying of AIDS, and they are having a party to honor him. And his ex-lover, Clarissa, comes by, and he gives this monologue to her right before his death. So is it okay if I stand up during it?
You do whatever you need and what makes you comfortable.
Okay.
I love this. Yeah. I love this scene. So.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. Here we go.
Okay. What are you doing here? It's early. I had this wonderful idea. I needed some light. I had to let in some light. So I combined my madness with my magic to solve the riddle until I find all of the coincidences. No, don't come near me. It seems I needed to let in some light. I cleared away all the windows. What do you think? I'm afraid I can't make it to the party, Clarissa. But I still have to face the hours, don't I? I mean, the hours after the party and the hours after that. Do I really have any good days left? Not really. It's kind of you to think so, but not really. It's you, Mrs. Dalloway. I've stayed alive for you, but you have to let me go now. No, wait. Tell me a story like that morning at the house and you walked out. I was 18 and maybe you were 19. Oh, I was 19 years old and I had never seen anything so beautiful. You walking out that glass door early in the morning, still sleepy. Isn't it strange? The most ordinary morning in anybody's life. I'm afraid I can't make it to the party, Clarissa. You've been so good to me, Mrs. Dalloway. I love you. I don't think two people could have been happier than we've been.
Great job. Thank you for going first.
You're welcome.
Nice. Sorry, I realized we were on mute. We were like, oh my God, great job. Okay, so if I may, just because I love this. So what I loved is that I think you clearly have some kind of connection to this piece. Like you clearly really dig it. Actually, because the kids have to be able to see it. So I'm going to look at you over here. So you have a connection to this piece. And what I think is really special about this, I know it's a scene and it's a beautiful scene usually, but as a monologue, I think almost keeping it more quiet and personal, especially because of in any audition situation, what do we have to do? We have to adapt, right? We have to adapt to whatever that situation is. And as someone who has auditioned over not Zoom, but a lot of self-taping and a lot of that kind of stuff, I say we use what we've got here to our advantage. So there were a couple of times where you were up and you were looking at Miss Dalloway, but then you would kind of check in and your focus was shifting. But the commitment to you believing, like to making me believe that either you're talking to me or you're talking to Mrs. Dalloway. Like that's the first major thing. But what I love is what if we tried the concept as opposed to you standing up? What if you tried it again? Let's just go through, you know, up to like, it's kind of you to think, but it's not really true. After you're asked about, you know, do I have any good days left? Okay. Let's go back through there. But instead, I want you to just do it here to us. Stay right here and talk to us and as genuinely and personally as you can, because that personal experience, that commitment to personal moments is what's going to make this really special. Because this is such a, God, this scene is so heartbreakingly personal because it's just his inner struggle that he's sharing with one other person. So as opposed to you being up and out, try and bring it in and let's just see what happens with that. Okay. What are you doing here? It's early. I had this wonderful idea. I needed to let in some light. I needed some light. So I combined my magic with my sadness. Pause you. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So right there, this wonderful, amazing idea. You literally have these beautiful windows behind you and you don't acknowledge them in your space. That is your light. And you don't have to open them. Okay. But I want to see, take in your surroundings. Don't show me what you're feeling. Okay. Just think through it, slow down, take your time. Like this is just you and me here and Ange. Like it's just the three of us. Don't worry about anybody else. Just talk to me. Okay. What are you doing here? It's early. I had this wonderful idea. I needed to let in some light. I needed some light. So I combined my madness with my magic to solve the riddle until I find all of the coincidences. It seems to me that I needed to let in some light. What do you think? I've cleared away all the windows. I don't think I can make it to the party, Mrs. Dalloway. But I still have to face the hours, don't I? And I mean, the hours after the party and the hours after that. Do I really still have good days ahead of me? Not really. It's kind of you to think so, but it's not true. It's you. I've stayed alive for you, but you have to let me go now. No, wait. Tell me a story like that morning at the house when you walked out of it. You were 18 and maybe I was 19. I was 19 years old and I had never seen anything so beautiful. You walking out of that glass door, still sleepy. Isn't it strange? The most ordinary morning of anyone's day. I'm afraid I can't make it to the party, Mrs. Dalloway. You've been so good to me. And I love you. And I don't think two people could have been any happier than we've been.
I mean, it.
that everything after that first section, when you pull down and you get personal.
There's an honesty. So when we get into the meat of it, exactly, then it's like, that's where you start living. And that's where the honesty and the truth starts to come out. So if we could get that in the beginning, because it's, and like you said, just if we just pull it down to where that is, then I'm talking to you.
Okay.
It's not so up here, you know, it's like, I see you in your room. I see the window. I see everything around you, and you're seeing it as well. So I think at the beginning, if the more you can see the room, the more you can really just take a second and make it a little more intimate.
So yeah. And I think God, it really is. That's so beautiful. The end of it, like, I know this, we know this scene, and we're like, like it's beautiful, especially how personal it seems. But there's two things kind of within that I think will clear it up. And that's one of the things that we always come back to when any of our dance classes, which is just acting through movement for any of you who are also dancers. It's breaking it down into beats, right? We all know like the basic beats, but why do you have those shifts? Right now, I don't know why that shift happens between the first one when you're talking about the light and the second one. And the truth of it is, he knows does he know what's going to happen? Does he know what his choice is when she gets there? Exactly.
Yes.
He knows that.
Yes.
So what's the point of him talking about all the light in the room?
I think because he kept himself so isolated and so dark. And I think right before he does what he's going to do, he wants to actually experience, just for that short moment, that short glimpse, some kind of light in his life.
I love that.
Is my interpretation.
No, I completely agree. I think there's something to it that he knew all along that if he let too much light in, it would be overwhelming, and that he could only handle so much of it. So by choosing to do this, I think that's what that first part of what are you doing here? You're early. And then that's like, I think that's a beat in and of itself. Okay. That's a genuine, like, I wasn't planning on this. I wasn't planning on you being here for this thing. That's even more. And then going into, okay, I've got to keep her from trying to stop me from doing this. You know what I mean? Okay. Look, it's just this great idea. I had this great idea. I just need to let in this light because I put these things that we've talked about together, and now this is it. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Then I want to see that personal moment of you having to figure out how to take care of this person that you love, that you know you're getting ready to do something horrible. Okay. In front of. Okay. So right. I want to see that love throughout the whole thing. Okay. Excuse me. What are you doing here? You're early. I had this wonderful idea. I needed to let in some light. I needed some light. I had this fantastic notion of mixing my madness with my magic in order to solve the riddle until I find the coincidences. I had this fantastic idea. It seemed I needed some of this light, and I cleared away all of the windows. What do you think? I don't think I can make it to the party, Clarissa. All right, pause. Let's go back, do that one more time. Okay. All right. So that little break, if we were to take that break between, seemed to me I need to let in some light. What do you think? I cleared away all the windows. Mm-hmm. There's a huge shift here before I don't think I can make it to the party, Clarissa. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. So let me see that. Also, try looking right off camera. Let's see what that does just for the purposes of this. If I can't see Clarissa, but you're talking to her instead of worrying about me or anybody else watching this. Let's just see what that does. Okay. What are you doing here? You're early. Oh, I had this fantastic idea. I needed some light. I needed to let in some light. So I combined this madness with my magic in order to solve the riddle until I find all of the coincidences. Oh, Clarissa, it seemed I needed to let in this light. See, what do you think? I cleared away all of the windows.
I don't think I can make it to the party, Mrs. Dalloway. But I still have to face the hours, don't I? I mean, the hours after the party and then the hours after that. Do I really have any good days in front of me? Not really. It's kind of you to think so, but it's not really true. It's you, Mrs. Dalloway. I've stayed alive for you. But you have to let me go now. No, wait. Tell me a story. Like that morning when you walked out of the house. Oh, you were 18 and maybe I was 19. I was 19 and I had never seen anything so beautiful. Oh, you walked out of that glass door early in the morning. Oh, you were still sleepy. God, isn't it strange? The most ordinary morning in anybody's life. I'm afraid I can't make it to the party, Clarissa. You've been so good to me, Mrs. Dalloway. I love you, and I don't think two people could have been happier than we've been.
All right. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay.
So one of our pups is having a situation. So I want to do one thing. You were beautiful. You were doing a beautiful job at this. One thing that I would task you with is you have done a beautiful job of showing us his struggle.
Mm-hmm.
The larger part of his struggle is that it's not about him. It's about her.
Right.
So as opposed to internalizing it and making it about us seeing how sad he is, you're trying to keep her from being sad about this horrible thing. And for those of you who don't know, I'm so sorry. If you don't know the play The Hours, right after this, and everyone here is of age to know that, right after this, he commits suicide. It's very, very awful. But what is, I think, more awful in a larger sense is that he's not lying. He is staying alive for her because it makes her happy for him not to hurt her. But he is in so much pain. So I think it's not showing that pain. It's trying to keep her from being worried. Try to keep her from hurting. Try to keep her from stopping you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everything flips, and I think that becomes much more powerful. It's the old thing about it's so much more interesting to watch somebody try not to cry than to watch somebody try to cry.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, and I don't know how much we have time-wise per person, so I don't want to make you do the whole thing again, but let's just see how it feels from I don't think I can make it to the party, Clarissa.
Okay. I don't think I can make it to the party, Clarissa. But I still have to face the hours, don't I? I mean, the hours after the party and the hours after that. Do I really still have any good days in front of me? Not really. It's kind of you to think so, but it's not true. It's you, Mrs. Dalloway. I've stayed alive for you. But you've got to let me go now. No. And tell me a story. Tell me about the morning when you walked out of the house and you were 18 and I think I was 19. I was 19 years old and I had never seen anything so beautiful. You walking out of that glass door, so early in the morning and you were still sleepy. Isn't it strange? The most ordinary moment of anybody's life. I'm afraid I can't make it to the party, Clarissa. You have been so good to me, Mrs. Dalloway. And I love you. I don't think any two people could have been any happier than we've been.
All right. I think bringing it down and making it personal is the largest change and the largest shift in what I really dig about this. And as far as audition techniques, using the space that's available to you. Mm-hmm. If you're in a large room, it's going to be totally different. If you're in a large room in New York, say you're in Pearl Studios and you get to audition in one of those studios that's like right there, that has the windows that open up to the streets, that could be a very effective tool.
Right.
Whole thing, you know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't test that, but you know what I mean? Like
right.
You can't treat any of it the same if you're doing it the same as you would in that studio as you would here. So I like that you brought it in. You made it very personal. You're clearly connected to this, and there's some really, really great work in there. Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Great job, and thank you for going first.
Absolutely.
It's always nerve-wracking.
Yeah, very brave.
Yes, it is.
Trust me, I feel you.
Okay, so next up we have Cal. Just in costume. Okay, spotlight video. Okay, there we go. And if you want to introduce yourself and what you'll be doing. And Colt and Anne, just so you know, I'm giving everyone about like 20 minutes-ish.
Yeah,
great. Yeah. You just tell us when. We'll keep talking. We love this stuff.
We're doing good. We're doing good on time.
Hello.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Raquel. I am in my house in Willow Springs, North Carolina, and I will be singing "You'll Be Back" from the musical Hamilton.
Amazing.
Very nice.
Did you do this at school or for a performance before?
So no, but this is from I think either Halloween costume or party that I went to. But yeah.
One or the other.
Amazing.
Nice. It's always good to have options.
And how old are you, Raquel?
I am 16.
Amazing.
Nice. All right. So yeah, I said just jump into it. Let's do it. I'm so excited. I love this song.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Oh, don't worry. So are we.
You guys take your time. When you go into a room, I think the most important thing is like, do not feel, it feels a little awkward to take up space, right? Like we instinctually, when everyone's looking at us, like we feel like we want to start right away, and you just are like, okay, I want to get it done right away. They want you to be wonderful, and they are rooting for you. So you take all the time you need, because we're taking our time looking at your resume, or like hoping you're really, getting prepared. So like, it's not a problem to take your time.
Yeah. I think to piggyback on that, always remember, we want you to be the answer to the problem that we have.
Yes.
We want you to be the best thing since sliced bread. Like, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
So just you be you. You don't need to be anything other than exactly who you are, because exactly who you are, whether or not it ends up being right for this audition, is exactly what it should be. Okay. So don't worry about that. You're all good. We're nothing but stoked.
Okay. You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry, your tea which you held in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We can see each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da. You say your love is draining and you can't go on. You'll be the one complaining when I am gone. So like that.
Nice. Oh my gosh, great job.
First off, there's a lot of material, so great job.
Oh,
and
yeah.
honestly, in any audition, like you barely get through 32 bars anyway.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
so,
stick to the first section through like the
beginning.
first verse and chorus, and then that'll be our focus today. Also, that is not an easy song.
No.
Congratulations. Well done. I mean, especially to do it a cappella.
Right,
that is
right.
very
I was thinking
hard.
you had like a track. No,
that was great. All right. So let's, I mean, if I.
Yeah.
Please,
what
were you going to say?
I was going to say, you got the notes, right? You know the notes. You got a beautiful voice in there. We can fix all of that later. Do you know what I'm saying? This is, I think, like classes like this, we want to dissect the performance of it and like really let's get into the character. But this is your man right here. So I know you got some.
So I will say very similarly to what we just talked about with Robert, it's giving us a focus. Okay. So a lot of times you'll have people that, and you know, different casting directors have different things. Sometimes they like it when you look at them. Sometimes they don't like it at all when you look at them. Sometimes they, you know, want you to pick a spot on the wall. That's going to be a personal choice, but you have to make that choice because you're not going to know, and you can't really, you can ask them, but some of them will give you the right answer. Some of them will not. Mm-hmm. For this, I want you to pick a point, right? If it's us and you're looking at us, we're your subjects. That's the point of this song. You're the king. So remember that. You're in charge here, not us. Mm-hmm. Nothing that we do here matters. And again, it's kind of that same thing that we said to Robert. Remember, it's about commitment. Mm-hmm. At any given point in performing, the most important thing is your commitment. Okay? You've seen Jonathan Groff do this. One can only assume, right?
Yeah.
Especially because now Hamilton's also available live. He does nothing. Right. He doesn't move. He's so still. And you know why he's so still? Because he's a king. He doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to do anything. You will watch. I don't have to move. I don't have to move my head. The most that he ever does is that shoulder, right? That's it. And it's amazing. But why is it amazing? It's because he commands literally and figuratively your attention. So when you do this again, I don't want you looking around. I don't want you thinking of anything. I want you commanding us to watch you. Everyone here. That's your job. You're the king. And that's how you command our attention. So let's see you do it.
All right. Sorry, I had to sit down because.
Not at all. You do what you got to do.
Okay, so how far do you want me to go before I?
We'll stop you. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't apologize. Take a deep breath, and when you're ready, you make us wait as long as you want, and then go.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea, which you hurl in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad?
Pause.
You want to say it?
I want you to put your feet like they're rooted in the ground, no swaying. I mean, even if you're thinking about that, like that's your intention. Root yourself in the ground. You're the king. There's no wishy-washy.
Yeah.
You're a badass, okay? You don't have to respond to nobody, baby. Like you are royalty, right? Even your eyes are not moving. They're bullets through the back of the house. Yeah. So even if it is making you nervous, like looking at us, just pick a point on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't move your eyes from that point. Because if you move your eyes.
It's hard because I always like, when I normally like sing stuff, I normally like, because it's just a habit.
No, of course. And it's a good habit that I'm happy we're breaking, because that won't serve you as a performer, right?
I think of it too. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Please.
We have to think of it as like, I am most comfortable in dance, right? Like that was my basis growing up. But as a performer, as a triple threat, right? We are all actors first. So I need you to stop thinking about the notes. I don't care what the heck comes out of your mouth. If you sing all the wrong notes, we'll deal with that later.
But you're doing the right notes.
Exactly. So like, don't even worry about it. You are the king. We're acting this as the king. So first and foremost, like, I feel like you're holding your hands in front of you. Put them right by your side, shoulders back, chest up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got it.
Like, be confident.
Yes.
Confident stature and
the king doesn't even think about being confident. He just stands. He like owns this, right?
Yeah.
So just even that. Just focus on that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea, which you hurl in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? We remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We can see each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. That good?
No, that was much better. So that was a great starting place. I love that. Also, remember this. I had a director tell me this one time, and I love this. Said, if you're not this person, if you're not happy to be in this class, if you're not a great dancer, if you're not a great singer, act like it. That's literally our whole job, right? So you get nervous before you sing and you look around and you do those things, but you're not you. You're the king. Does the king do those things? Nobody in that moment cares what you do. Remember that. Because they're not here to see you, they're here to see the king. You just happen to be the perfect representation of that in that moment, right?
Right.
So don't worry about if you have little habits that you do.
Yeah.
When you're doing like a personal, cabaret, all good. Like, knock those things out. Feel free to look side to side, but the king doesn't look side to side. The king doesn't do those things.
Okay.
So that's perfect. Now that we found that stillness, what about the juxtaposition of what he's saying, right? So how do we find the humor in this song, which is a really funny song, with the things that he's saying, which is, I will send a fully armed battalion to blow you out of the water to remind you how much I love you, right? Yeah, exactly, right? So there's got to be that same juxtaposition that's written into the lyrics, that same counter thought has to be shown. If we're going to be totally still, what does this have to be doing?
Right.
Everything else, right? So when you have those thoughts, you have to know what you're saying and really know the intention behind it so you can show us what that is while not giving anything away physically, because you don't have to. That's where that comedy comes in. Okay.
Okay.
You have anything?
I do. I think what I want to add to just to piggyback off of that, a lot of times in our classes we say we load you up with, you know, all these corrections and changes that we want to see. And sometimes I see the frustration in students sometimes when they're like, but I feel like I'm doing that. I feel like I'm giving you what you want. I feel it inside. And I go, it doesn't matter what you feel inside. It's what you make the audience feel like, right? So sometimes we have to quite literally like look in the mirror and go, oh, it doesn't come across that way. Yeah. Film yourself sometimes, you know, and watch it back and go, I'm actually not, it felt like I was doing that thing, but I don't see it. So sometimes physically we have to go, oh, physically, what can I do to, and I'm not saying overact, but sometimes you got to go there, like fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? Just really.
I think that's the best thing that has ever happened. As a dancer, how do you know what you look like? We have mirrors 24/7, right? You're always dancing in front of mirrors, but we never sing in front of a mirror and we never act in front of a mirror, or we never, you know, if you're not recording yourself and listening back and going, oh, I was pitchy there. Oh, that could be, I could use vibrato there. Oh, I should pull this back. This is more dramatic. Same thing for acting. You've got to watch yourself so that you can see, are you happy with it? And here's the thing that we, hands down, I would say is the most important thing for everybody that's coming through here. If you are not happy with what you are putting out as a product, how am I supposed to be happy with it? And more importantly, should it matter if I'm happy with it if you're not? Like,
I think that's where it is. And I think, you know, you, like we said, like this of all times in the world, like you have all the time to record yourself, watch it, pick specific pieces, choreography, songs, whatever, and just keep working it yourself, because we are our best critics, right?
So take the next 15 seconds, look at your notes, think about one thing that you want to work on for this next run, right? So we know you're going to be totally still. Let's add one more thing to it, and then let's stand up, reset the camera, and do it again.
All right. Sorry, I'm going ahead and resetting it because
hey, you do whatever you got to do.
That takes a while. But yeah.
All right, so we have.
I'm sorry. I just like this is kind of a small space I'm in right now.
Don't apologize. That's okay. You're doing great. Like, nice thing when you don't move, you don't need as much space.
Yeah. So do you want me to go ahead and?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea, which you hurl in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement when you went away, and now you're making me mad. Remember despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We can see each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will sing the Folion Battalion to remind you of my love.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. I'm going to make one note because I don't know if we have much more time. The most interesting part of that is when you messed up. Because I saw some honesty there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though you laughed, there was just, you know, something in your face, you know, just the honesty comes through our eyeballs, you know, like our hearts they come out through our eyeballs, right? And so I don't know, I
also love that you didn't move any part of your body, but your face went and you just went right back into it. It was so good.
Like, even if that was a choice, I'd be like, okay,
that's
I like
the thing. That's what we want to see. That's what we're talking about. The comedy came from the fact that nothing moved except your face moved like 1,000 directions at once. So how do we find that through this? And the last thing I'll say is, do you know what they're talking about with regards to the tea and all the different historical references?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're in school. You've probably
I
know
listened
that
to
better
the
than we
musical
do.
like 15,000 times.
Right. So in those moments, those have to be a little, like, they're little nods, but they're also opportunities for the audience to, like, you're kind of winking at them with what you're saying. You know what I mean? So, like, lean into those moments a little bit. Let something special come out there. And that's specific to Hamilton or Lin-Manuel's stuff, because it's very topical. It's very, you know.
Yeah.
But great job, and great taking notes, and keep working on that. And I'm so stoked for you.
Yeah, thanks for your hard work.
Great job. Next up, we have Erin. And I'm going to spotlight her. I think you have to show your video for me to be able to spotlight it. There we go.
Hey, can you see me?
I can see it.
Oh, hello.
Oh, okay. This is from Michelle. Gotta be, right?
I'm so stoked about this.
Yeah, not Hamilton, as you might have guessed. My name is Edem Akpan. I'll be doing a piece, or I'm from Bull City, Durham, hop, skip, and a jump from DPAC. I'll be doing a monologue from a show called The Royal Treatment. It was a review, so like variety show.
Yeah.
As the character Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters, like you might have guessed from my sparkling personality. It's very interactive. I would really love for you to actually, like, I'll ask questions and I'd really love for you to reply.
Oh, we're going to answer. Don't you worry.
Yeah. I guess, Taylor, if you think there won't be echo, you could totally feel free to jump in too.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Just give enough pause so that people can respond.
All right. I will do my best.
Great.
You'll see there's one exception where I don't give it, but it'll, reply when I ask you a question. All right. I will get into it. Ladies and lords, highnesses and majesties, welcome one and all to the Royal Treatment Talent Show. I am your host, Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters in all the land. I have to tell you that just in case you might not have heard of me. Tonight I shall serve as your guide, your navigator through the evening's miscellany of spectacular performances. But before we get started, there's just one small matter we need to attend to. You see, the reason this is called the Royal Treatment is that we only perform for royalty. Now, don't worry. There's a very simple way to prove you are who you say you are. Since all nobility and royalty is very well learned, you'll be able to answer all three of the following questions without any trouble. And if you cannot, you'll be quietly and politely escorted out. Ready? Fantastic. Question number 1. When was the War of 1812?
1812.
Correct. Question number 2. How long was the 30 Years' War?
13 years.
13 years?
30.
That was the first one there, yes? Also correct. Now, the third question is mathematical in nature, so it is exponentially more difficult. If you have 2 pianos, and each has 88 piano keys, how many pianos do you have?
2 pianos.
Absolutely correct, my dears. Now, I see that you are indeed royalty. Please forgive us for doubting you, but you can hardly blame us. You see, each and every one of you seems to have forgotten to wear your crowns. How silly of you. And that's where I'll stop, but that's the intro to the show.
Nice,
That
fun.
is very, very fun. My face hurts a little bit from smiling.
Yeah.
I apologize. All right, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, such a fun piece to pick and work with. Like there's so much to do with this, obviously.
I mean,
but I say we work with, the questions are obviously fun, and if you do decide to do that in an audition, like you got to go like in hard, because like it's a bold choice to do just to get them to interact. But let's focus on the first
if you
chunk.
can get it.
Yeah, they'll love it if you nail it. But the first chunk is very fun, and I'm not familiar with this play, but it reminds me of, I want it to go like more leading player, right? I instinctually am like so Pippin biased when it comes to like thinking of this kind of like character of sorts. Like I want it to be a little more mysterious, and I want to see the crowd, you know? I want to like, because you're playing directly to us, and I know like we're on Zoom, but I want to see all the people you're talking to. So your focus will naturally shift if you're talking to these people. I don't know. That's why.
So I think one of the what you're saying, and so Kate, we just finished. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get all my thoughts in order, and this is just the best. I'm loving this. So the best way to describe it is, your world is here, and we're using this, you know, the four walls right here. However, your world extends beyond that, right? You're talking to a hall of kings and queens, and you're asking them all these questions. But when you get to those questions are very specifically pointed at us. But if everything is here, then it never feels bigger than that. And then it never feels more personal than that. So we would always, like in Aladdin, there's a number called BOAC, Babcock, Omar, Aladdin, Kassim. And we're dancing, we're doing this thing, and it's like we're performing on the street, we're street performers, and it's this whole thing. The thing is, Casey, our director, would always say, the stage is not the village. The city goes all the way out into the house and beyond the house and into Baltimore or Durham or wherever we are. Like, this is one microcosm of it. So you are the microcosm, but you are talking to so much more. That way, when you pull it to us, it feels important. See what I'm saying?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So give us a whole room of lords and ladies, talk to everybody, and then pull it to us every once in a while. Let's see what happens. Raquel's got the crown for you. You got a king right there. Come on. Come on, Raquel. So let's do it. Let's commit to it.
I'll say I don't think I quite understand what you want me to do. You mean, like, I guess don't look at the camera all the time, look off to the side, or
so less about looking off to the sides and more looking at the people that are there. You have to world build for us, right? Because or is this scene only directed to the two of us?
No, in the actual show, so you're up on stage and you're talking to the different people in the audience. Like later on, there's a whole bunch more call response. And like the point of it is to you're kind of like training them. Yeah, when I say something, I want you to talk back.
Right. Okay. So then.
So I have a word of advice. There's a thing on Zoom where it's like you can go into like gallery view, and that might help you.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Thank you, Raquel. For the purposes of the audition, since we're the people that would be auditioning you, maybe we don't do the world build. Maybe just stay with us. And let's see. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. You don't have to worry about changing anything. I just want you to stay focused with us and see what happens.
Stay focused with just the two of you, or you mean like in the gallery view, all the little boxes of people?
So the thing about the gallery view is it's still focused on the computer. What we were trying to say is we want you to be in your world. So in your world, you are looking at all of these different lords and ladies, right? And so that would physically, obviously, change your focus physically, but we don't want you to think, oh, I'm just changing my focus for the sake of changing my focus. We want you to physically see these people. Like maybe there's a really beautiful lady over here and there's a really ugly old lord over here and there's a, you know, a baby crying. How'd the baby get in? You know, like whatever it is, like we want you to really see it. But
I'm so sorry. I don't know if you can hear me. So my Wi-Fi decided to hiccup. So last I heard was you said, I said essentially, I don't quite know what you mean, and nothing after that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We were just saying that I think we got another little hiccup in here. I'll wait for a second. Aram, do we have you back yet?
Zoom's great, but except for when this happens.
It's just
you know what though? This is such a great costume to get like frozen in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a Facebook profile picture all day.
Yes.
Is that still a thing?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. You know what? Sometimes it depends on time because I want to make time for everyone. We could make sure their connection is good and back to.
Well, that was dreadfully.
Oh, there we are. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, that was truly inopportune timing. I just said essentially I don't quite, and I think you were telling me do it again, and then didn't catch the rest of that.
So what we were saying is let's try it again, and let's just try it again. I think that's the best way. Like let's just start and we'll pause you, and then we'll give notes and we'll go back a little bit.
All right.
You're doing a great job. This is really, really fun.
Thank you. Ladies and lords, highnesses and majesties, welcome one and all to the Royal Treatment Talent Show. I'm your host, Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters in all the land. I have to tell you that just in case you haven't heard. Pause. All right.
Yeah, okay. So your entrance, especially because you're entering from off camera, make it, I mean, you are the greatest of jesters, right? So other than your amazing hat, I need to know energy-wise, vocally, I mean, lords and ladies, right? This is a large, and that's what I'm saying, like, if your world that you're talking to is so vast and large, I want to hear that. I want to hear it. I want to see it. And obviously you don't want to blow the mics out. I get that. But
all right.
I want to see, I want you to show me that you are the greatest of jesters, other than someone in a jester outfit. That is the greatest of jester costumes. But I want you are the greatest of jesters. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Get this entrance. You got this.
Ladies and lords, highnesses and majesties, welcome one and all to the Royal Treatment Show. I'm your host, Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters in all the land. I have to tell you that just in case you haven't heard of me. Tonight I shall serve as your guide, your navigator through the evening's miscellany of spectacular performances. Did you say pause, or was that just the noise?
I think it was just the noise. We didn't say pause, but that's
darn.
No, it's totally fine. That's a great place to pause anyway.
Okay.
Can I just ask? I'm going to ask you to do something very silly. I mean, sillier. Can you like whirlwind in, like spin in, or like big jump kick in? Like I don't know. You know, see what I'm saying though? Like. You're already laughing because you're imagining how ridiculous it's going to look when somebody pops in and is like, hitch kick, I'm a jester. You know what I mean? I want to say.
That does sound funny. I don't know quite how I do it. I suffer from the same affliction that our dear King Raquel does, and that I have about this much space and not much beyond it.
You know what?
I have to audition in a closet. True story.
Wait.
What?
Right. So do a spin in. I can try it. We'll see what happens.
Just do anything.
I think their point is do something that you think will be silly and just do it.
That is correct. You could pretend to have nunchucks. I know it's not period specific, but it sure would be funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This isn't a nunchuck, but I do have this line.
Yes.
Around.
Whatever
works,
you
baby.
got, let's do it.
Here we go.
Really know what to do after that.
You know
I feel
what?
like
That was
that clashes with, like, I wouldn't be nervous peeking in if I'm the greatest of jesters.
very true.
I have all kinds of drawing and playing.
I got an idea. What if, so the greatest of jesters would be announced, right? I mean, you're the greatest jester ever, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you came in announcing yourself on like your own finger horn? And you're like, you popped into screen, turn to the other side. Hello, hello. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to set us up. And the purpose of this is you have to set us up to believe, not even believe, but to know that you are the greatest of jesters. And to do that, you have to be a great jester. So let's come up with some stuff. You're nailing it. Just keep trying. That's what we're here for. This is class. This is the best. And I'm having fun.
All right. Try something.
Let's try it out.
I am Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters in all the land. You're welcome. I've taken a piece of my evening tonight to guide you through the evening's miscellany of spectacular performance. Gosh, I feel like that shouldn't fit at all. But I do like the idea.
Right? So good. That's just something for you.
This is a great jumping off point.
Yes.
Like, I think it takes a lot of brainstorming before you even get to the performance, right? So like brainstorm, what is this gesture? What kind of cuckoo character are you going to bring to the table and really like nail that?
I think it's also important for everybody here to know that, like, and I can only speak for myself, but there is never a night where I pride myself on being a consistent performer, but I never do the same thing. Mm. Like I love trying to make people break on stage. My goal is to make my castmates misalign or mess up because they're laughing because something new has happened, or be stunned, or if you're in a dramatic piece, like for them to be shocked and like have to take a second and get their bearings again, because that's what we want, right? We want that natural thing. So Aram, I think you're doing a great job. I think this is, again, a great jumping off point. Let's try, I think we have time for another, like, let's try it again.
Yeah,
let's try
one more time. We can do it one more time.
What, the trumpets?
Huh?
I said, what, the trumpets or?
Try
whatever you want.
Don't tell us what it is.
You're clearly extremely creative and very funny, and you're doing such a great job. So just, you know, let that inner jester out.
All right.
I know it's so hard to be funny on the spot. Don't worry about being funny. Just do something to shock us.
Well, not this again. They forgot my trumpets. I suppose I'll have to do it myself then. That'll suffice. Good evening. I am Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters in all the land. This evening I shall serve as your guide, your navigator through the evening's miscellany of spectacular performance. I think that was noise again. Sorry.
That was great.
Can I offer I want you to try one more thing. Can you walk in as just the saddest jester that ever existed that hates being a jester? Like you're just like, yeah, you're just like, why? And like the irony there would be really funny if you were just like, hi, I'm Sammy Sylvester, the greatest of jesters. tonight. You know, like
that's funny. I like that.
Like that. I just imagine sitting in some theater in New York, and you're like, oh my God. But in the full get up, like that's amazing. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Can you like, keep a straight
I'll
face?
channel my inner Piff, the magic dragon.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for knowing Piff.
Good evening. I'm Samuel Sylvester, the greatest of jesters. Or at least, that's what I'm supposed to be. Tonight, I'll be your guide to the evening's performances. Mediocre as they are. Before we get started, there is something we have to check. I'm so stuffy.
No, I love this.
I do like that idea, though.
Like, I think it'd be really funny to keep building on that if you just in the middle of it, you were like, and there's something we have to check.
Like a clipboard.
Yeah, and like, you're just so absolutely, you've done this so many times, you can't get fired. You don't even care.
I could see that.
I think there's something to that. So
making it seem more like people regularly try to sneak in, and I'm like really annoyed we keep having to do this.
Yes, I love that. Like, this is the like most tedious of jobs, and that gives us, especially because you came in costume, and I think you hit it on the head with Piff. Mm-hmm. And I've shown you that the Penn and Teller Fool Us Piff. It's hilarious, and it's this guy who's dressed like this, but he's a dragon. He's in a dragon costume, yes, and it's hilarious because of that. So this is great. Let's do the whole thing with the interactions one more time with this new version, and let's see what it brings.
Betsy, we'll see if I can even remember it all.
That's okay.
Actually, 1 second. I'm going to grab something that I think will...
I'm in.
Good evening. I am Sammy Sylvester, greatest of jesters. Or at least that's what I'm supposed to say. Tonight, I shall be your guide to the evening's performances, announcing the names of the people coming as if you didn't know them already. But before we get started, there's something I have to do. Exactly, this is part of my job now. You see, this is called the royal treatment because we only perform before royalty. Royalty, not any common ragamuffin off the street. Now, to prove you are who you say you are, we will ask you a few questions. Since royalty it's very, always very well educated, spend more time in your books than doing anything useful to rule your country. So answer all three of the following questions, and okay. If not, then our guards will show you the door. Question number 1. When was the War of 1812?
1812.
Correct. Question number 2. How long is the 30 Years' War?
30 years.
Also correct. Now, sometimes people get past those first 2, just a lucky guess, but this third one was sure to weed out any commoners lurking amongst us. You have 2 pianos, and each has 18 piano keys. How many pianos do you have?
2.
2.
Also correct. Well, I suppose you are all royalty, or at least you're disguised well enough to pass our test. So, we'll get into the evening's entertainment.
Nice. Great job, Aaron. Nice choices. I love the props. I love calling out, I know, a feather pen. Like, who just has a feather? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great
Right
job.
on my desk.
Really, really, really great job. And nice note taking. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Great job.
My pleasure. Thank you for all your great advice.
Way to commit to a character. All right, next up we have Madeline.
Hi.
In her video.
Hi.
Okay, hi. I'm Madeline. Sorry, I'm at a theater camp right now, so if you hear kids singing in the background, I'm so sorry about that. I'm a counselor this week. I'm going to be performing Journey to the Past from Anastasia, and I'm a senior in high school getting ready to do my last season of theater, and we're doing this show in January, and I'm doing as much work as I can before auditions, and I would love some feedback on the song, I guess.
Is your so you're going into your senior year?
Yes, I am going into my senior year.
You're playing Anastasia.
Huh?
You're playing Anastasia in January?
No, I'm auditioning for the show, but you're going to be one of the first schools in my to get the right show.
In January, and you're prepping now. That is what you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Yes, way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I have a private lesson with Christy Altamar next week, and I'm like, I've not been like,
No way.
So
Crazy. We went to school together.
Oh, did you go to University of Cincinnati?
Yeah.
That's where I want to go.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, I don't want to waste a lot of time, so I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna do you know? I'm assuming you guys know this song. I'm gonna start kind of when it goes into the big build up, the one step out of time into the at last.
Nice.
All right. Hold on. One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future things my heart still needs to know. Like a flag. Yes, let this be a sign. Let this road be mine. Let it lead me to my past and bring me home. Oh, wait. That's the wrong part. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I started the wrong part of the track. Oh my gosh.
Hey, don't worry about it.
That isn't my fault.
Yeah.
I can also hear somebody's mic is on. There, wait. There we go. One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a sign. Let this road be mine. Let it lead me to my past and bring me home at last. That was a little flat, but all right.
Nice.
Okay. So
yeah.
No. You have a great voice. So take that out of the equation. Like, don't worry about that. Don't comment on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't need to do that, because I promise you that the people who are auditioning you, especially like in professional settings, if you think you're flat, you telling us that you're flat doesn't change whether or not you were flat.
Yeah.
Right. And self-awareness is a huge thing, currently in the world. Everybody wants to be very self-aware and show that, like, there's no, I know but you knowing you're flat doesn't make you flat or not flat, right?
Yes.
You have a great voice. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Especially because you're, I mean, obviously very talented. You're so pretty. You're perfect for this part. And you have so much potential, but I want to treat this like a real audition, right? So I want you to, you know all the words. So put that stand somewhere else, like move it. I don't care if you're saying the wrong words, like you know the words, right?
Yeah.
I want you to take a second and like put yourself in your world. And I want you to sing it where you are. You don't have to look at us, please. If don't look at us. Actually, yeah.
Because it doesn't have to do with us.
Yeah, this song. I mean, I'm sure you. Obviously, this musical is amazing, and this is one of my favorite songs of all time. And I think as a little girl, it applies like to everyone and to anyone, but for me specifically, when I was a little girl, I grew up with this movie, and then even now as a woman, there's so much I can relate to this, right? So we all can connect to this song. It's such an internalized thing that we're going through singing this, and I want to feel every new idea, right? Because you're having a conversation with yourself, your heart, God, whatever that is for you. And I want to see every step of the way. And it's an internal thing that she's, oh my gosh. It just keeps building, right? So I want to see that. And I also think that, again, like we were saying earlier, you're feeling so much inside. I can tell you're feeling it, but on the outside, you're taking your feeling and you're just holding your hands up here. Let it go. Okay. And like, you know, take us with you, but also just be a little more physically aware of what's going on over here. Even if we just think of grounding down, dropping the arms, singing out, you know?
Okay.
Try one more time.
Okay. Let me start at the right part in my track this time. One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future, things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a sign, let this road be mine, let it lead me to my past and bring me home at last.
Okay, so like a million times better, right?
A lot better, yeah.
That's the jumping off point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the beginning point.
Yes.
And I think I'm trying to think of, I need to take notes, but I wanted to watch. So it's almost terminology that teachers, including us, tend to use that I think almost muddies the waters a little bit sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We say things like, I want to see this. Mm-hmm. Yes, as an audience member, I want to see this, but simultaneously, we'll also tell you a million times, do not try to show me something. Mm-hmm. So I get that can be confusing for all of us, but it's knowing that what we said before really is the crux of all of this. If you are happy with this, if you are genuinely telling a story that makes you feel so moved. I mean, think of the words that you're saying. Well, like, am I finally going to find what is going to take me, like what's going to answer all the questions I've ever had in my life? Am I on the cusp of that right now? If you're not that excited about every bit of it, it doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what Taylor or Aram or Abigail, it doesn't matter what any of us think about this moment if you are truly connected to it. Not showing us that you're connected, but truly. And that's why the most important thing that I could say is do not check in on your work. When you're in a moment and you're like, oh, I just hit a moment. Did they see it? You know what I mean? Because that tells me that you care more about my opinion than yours, and that you're not a character that I'm getting to just enjoy. You're a person pretending to be a character, and you want me to like you.
Yeah.
So don't check in.
Okay.
Do your story. Let's try it again. Let's see your story. And
I just have one more thing too, and I'm sorry to load you up, but I think you can take it off.
Oh, you're fine. I'm good.
I think that it's a little more joyful, especially because I know this song so well. When you've finally gotten to this point of the song, it is, you know, intimate still, but it's more joyful, right? Some of it's a little scary, some of it is unknown, but like I want to see all those colors. Yeah. So show me a little more colors. It's joyful. Okay.
It's kind of like she's still a little doubtful at this point, but she's like, I'm finally at Paris. Like, there's no way this can't be real. Like, she's kind of at the point in her story, I believe, where she's like, this is happening. This is my future. Like, how I personally interpret the song is like, she's finding her future, and it's like all coming back to her at once. It's like, she's been searching for this light her whole life, and it's finally like exploded before her. And I feel like I just channel that a bit more.
Yes. See how you just explained that to me though? What I saw in your face. That exactly.
In the song.
So taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
She's excited. Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Hold on. Let's see if it's at the right part. One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future. Things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a sign. Let this road be mine. Let it lead me to my past and bring me home at last.
Yes,
Way
Mama.
better. Yes.
So much better.
Yeah, that felt a lot better. And I felt like my voice felt almost a little freer too. Like my vibrato was able to come through a little bit because I wasn't holding back so much.
Yeah.
I just like, I'll get in my head about these things. And I think if I just let my excitement, let my body take control, it feels a little freer.
Yes, we all do. We all get like that, but absolutely. Yeah. Especially this song is so genuine.
Yeah.
Like, it fits you so well. Like just let it go with you.
We say a lot of times when we're teaching that the most important thing in auditioning is that you are not, there's no way not to be nervous if you care about it, right? But I know that we are always so nervous before auditions. Like even now, like I constantly I get so nervous. But then when you start, you know, let's say a dance call, the minute you start dancing and you see it on yourself and you feel it, now it's about, oh, I want to share this with you. I'm so excited that I want to share this. And then it comes out of a different place, as opposed to, I sure hope you like me. And I think that it's important for you and everybody here to go from that place of, you have till January just for the audition. And that's when the work starts.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, well, I've got till January. It means by the time you get there, you should have done so much work and so many revisions that you are so excited to share your version of this. And if your version of that is not what they want, you know, I did everything I could. My hands are tied. Like I'm done here. I don't have anything to do with this because I did everything that I wanted to do with it. But if you don't get to that level, then auditions become this terrifying thing where you're just like, I should have done more. What if I had done it differently? Don't do that, you know?
And I think you record yourself doing this and do it over and over again, you know, and really watch it.
I've literally sat in my bathroom and I think I've practiced the 32-bar measure cut. If I've counted in my head, probably 152 times.
Did you voice record or video record though?
Video record. My Snapchat memories is full of literally just videos of me singing hours at a time. It's
kind of better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
The song is a 9-day difference from the first time I sang it.
Good. So keep doing that and do it. Yeah. You know, when you hit around like 150 50,000 hours, then you're probably close to like where you're going to want to be. But I mean, it literally, I know both of us have spent, I mean, literally countless hours working on everything to get to where we are and to get to those auditions. I know that I worked more auditioning for Aladdin than I did in the rehearsal period of Aladdin, and Aladdin's rehearsal period was a month for me, which is double what you usually get for a replacement in a show.
There's one thing I want to say, and obviously I'm not a professional vocal coach, but I actually do this a lot, and we all still have to catch ourselves. Breath. Yeah, the catch breath. So especially let's say this is your cut. I feel how much you're feeling, you know, but I want you to just keep it clean. One step at a time. Just sing the words. Stop going. There's a lot of like.
As you tighten your throat down.
And you're doing it, I think, to show emotion, but keep it even and clean so that when you do it later, because there's a point that I love when you do it later in the song, you're allowed to do that.
Earned it.
And it lands. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, my voice teacher has talked about that. He's like, Madeline, don't do that.
Nice. So just don't do that. It's honestly super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Don't do it. It's a bad habit, breathing very intensely, because I feel like I never have enough breath when I always do.
Yeah. If you're using breath support, you have so much more than you'll ever need by taking one breath. So great job.
Great job, Madeline.
Thank you so much. That's definitely helped.
Good. Happy to hear you. Have a great, session with Christy, and good luck.
I'm so excited. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to move to the question portion because we did get a few questions.
All right.
Nice.
So the first question actually was from Madeline, and this question is for both of you. What is the biggest takeaway from your career, and what do you love most about being performers?
Do you want to?
I mean, that's such a huge question to tackle. The biggest takeaway, I don't even know really how to answer that.
I would say my biggest takeaway as a performer has been finding, it's kind of a microcosm of a larger life lesson that is something that we spend a lot of time talking about, which is loving yourself, loving the work that you do, and believing in that so intensely that like you're going to be in a business, if you do this professionally, that most of the time tells you no. Like, God, I've auditioned for 3 movies in the last week, and I haven't gotten them. But after thousands of movie auditions, like you get one and you're like, okay, I know that the work I'm doing is enough. And I think that's a larger life thing. You have to know that you are enough, and that people may not always give you all of the love you feel like you deserve, but you have to love yourself and be that guiding light in that principle.
That's really beautiful.
Thanks.
I think maybe I'm going to piggyback.
Follow that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. to piggyback on that, yeah, because I mean, that's such a grand question, right? Like,
I had to give it a grand answer.
I think that being a performer is quite literally the most like healing thing you can do for yourself, because
you do it right.
In order to be a brilliant performer or keep working towards that, you have to become the most self-aware version of yourself, like ever.
Yes.
And so I will say that though, technically, I grew up as a professional ballerina, and then I kind of transferred into the Broadway world. Was I a much better technician back then? Did I have, more whatever, physical capability then? Yeah, I was younger, of course we all do in our teens, but now am I a better performer? 100%, because I know who I am. Mm-hmm. And so my dance is driven behind true emotion and experience and self-awareness that I didn't have when I was a kid,
That self-awareness thing too comes around in so many ways. We talk about this all the time. So I started dance when I was a teenager. And I very quickly was made aware by, friends and in a positive way by teachers that I was way behind and that I had a lot of catching up to do. And I would go home and I had a tape of Baryshnikov dancing, and I would watch it on, like, I would pause it and I'd go frame by frame to watch how he jumped off the ground and watch where his arms were and how and time it out and do those because I knew that I wasn't a good enough dancer yet. And so I keep working. And then you have to work on your voice and you start doing those things, but you have to be honest with yourself. You have to tape yourself and then look at it and not go, man, I'm great. I'm so awesome.
Right.
It's taping yourself to go, and also not to go, God, you suck. It's a middle ground of going, hey, you are awesome, but these are the things you need to work on to be better, because there is no end to that road for any good performer. You are always working. And the proof is Meryl Streep,
right,
who is constantly working on being better. Daniel Day-Lewis, who is constantly working on being better. So yeah, that's what I would take away from it.
And I think, you know, sorry to be, we're going to talk your ear
don't
off.
Ask a question to us.
I think
I'll answer it.
Something that I think we both agree on is, especially when you're young and you're starting off, pick pieces that are super appropriate for yourself.
Yes.
And I think
your skill set.
And your skill set, exactly. And work within that, because we first have to start with what we know, right? Like, then later on, yes, you can be Meryl Streep and you can play all these crazy parts you want. But right now we have to start with things that we can tap into genuinely. And so, like, I think Madeline's, you know, for her and for a lot of us, you know, like, that's a great piece to work on, because we can genuinely tap into a lot of those feelings. It's age appropriate. It's, you know, appropriate for what we're all going through in this time frame of our life, you know, like, or where the age that she's at, you know, that's a great piece for her. So really think of things that you can, even Robert, you know, clearly has a connection with that made sense as a piece.
Yeah,
to
had
choose.
At first, before we saw like who was doing what, I was like, wait, a kid picked this?
Yeah, it was like this is not age appropriate. And then I was like, oh, no. I didn't realize. So
no.
Yeah.
but yeah. So. Yeah. So that is the answer.
But again, self-awareness, like, go with that. But figure out what your type might be, you know, and go with that. Sorry, Nick. Next question.
Madison asked, what is the best attire to wear for an audition? Should you show your own style or try to channel the style of the show you are auditioning for?
Okay, so
we have a couple of funny stories to think about things like this.
So I will say this: what I was taught in high school and in college was that you go in and you are in your crisp, you know, brightly colored express shirt and your black slacks, and you've got your black shoes as a guy, and the girls go in a nice simple dress. It's not too revealing, but that's ridiculous. Don't do that. Go in dressed for, like, if you're going into Rent and you're wearing just this side of a suit, no. And like, go in for what your character is. Don't go in dressed in costume, but you can go in that general style. Like, I love this for Moulin Rouge, the Duke. I love that character. I love that costuming. I would not go in a full, like, floor length fur coat and steel tip boots. I, however, do tend to wear mostly black and cowboy boots all the time. So that's a comfortable thing for me that also leans towards that character. Mm-hmm. So I would say err on the side of
never show up in a costume.
Don't do
please, you guys. Don't
ever. Although it was perfect for this. That was amazing. Both of you that did it for this, I was very like, this is a different situation.
Right, of course.
And that jester costume, especially with kind of where we ended up with it, like, that almost is necessary.
Totally.
And you'll be remembered. But you've got to find something that errs on the side of, I'm acknowledging what this style is, and I know this style, but your personal style doesn't matter if it doesn't match the character.
Right.
So that's what I would say.
I just want to be mindful of your time. It's 2:30. We have a few more questions. If you have to go, I totally understand. But if you're cool, we have more.
I feel bad. Okay. It's our fault.
Okay. No, it's all good. Okay. So Shannon asked, in your experience, what is the best mental attitude for auditions, and how do you deal with those pre-audition jitters?
I think we see this a lot, but don't be hard on yourself for getting nervous, because all that means is that you care. Like, I don't know anyone that genuinely cares and doesn't get nervous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's how we are able to control our nerves. And I think that is a practice, and that practice comes, or you're able to do that well by preparing, right? Practicing and auditioning a lot, and singing in front of everyone you possibly can. But B, I think you always say this a lot: preparing, taking all of the guesswork out of it to the best of your ability. Go in there knowing that you know this song or dance inside and out. You don't have to worry about a single thing, so that when the nerves come up, that's all you have to deal with. You're not also second guessing everything about what you're doing.
Yeah. So before, I'm going to use Aladdin because that was such an insane audition experience. I was so nervous to audition for Aladdin because she had already been on the tour for 2 years at this point, and I really wanted to join the tour. And I got the audition, and before I went in, I knew, because I get very nervous before I sing. No matter what, it doesn't matter. I get very nervous in audition settings. So we were in Arizona. I think we were in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
And during the show, when she was in the show, about a week before my audition, I went into a bar that had karaoke. Like, I found a karaoke night, and I went and I sang multiple songs in front of a college bar full of people, because I was like, I have to do it. Like, I have to sing and just get it out. And like, I hadn't done it in a second, because I think I hadn't sung since Dirty Dancing, like since we had done the recording.
Well, because when I was on the road, Colt was shooting this
close.
Series this close. Yeah. And so he would, when he's not shooting, he would come be with me on the road, and, back and forth. But he hadn't, I
hadn't auditioned for Broadway in a minute. And so I got so
And being
nervous.
on film it's so different. Like, it's in this little closet space of a thing sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're like, I haven't been on a stage in forever.
So I went to this place and I sang until I literally just was like, I can't do it anymore. And I went back, and when I got into the audition room, suddenly my frame of reference for that was very different, because I had been in the worst possible situation with people who didn't want me to be any good and didn't care and didn't, and then I got to that audition and I was like, I'm around people that like want you to be good, and they love this material and they want to hear it. And it gave a different frame of reference. So that's what I would say. When we say prepare, we literally mean like, do everything you personally can, but then look outside of yourself and just what you prepared and go, wait, is there something else I can do to make this easier on myself? So yeah, that's what I would say. We would say.
Yeah. We got a few questions from Courtney that I'm going to ask. She asked, this kind of piggybacks off of a little bit what you're saying, but how did it feel to star in the role of Johnny Castle and filling Patrick Swayze's boots? Did it feel terrifying?
Yes. 100,000%, maybe 1,000,000%, infinite percent. Yes. I love Dirty Dancing. I grew up with it. And I remember my stepmom really, really, really loved it. It used to come on TV every weekend. And whenever I was visiting her, she just would watch it. And I remember seeing Patrick Swayze in things like Point Break and Roadhouse. And I was like, oh, this is tough guy. And he's awesome. And he's an actor. And then he was dancing. And I was like, he can dance? And she said, yeah, his mom runs a dance studio. He's a professional dancer as well. And that was actually what opened me up to being like, oh, I can be a dancer. Like, this is so cool. And I suddenly saw it in a different light. So getting the opportunity to audition for that was incredible. Being cast in it was just insane. Yeah, there's no real words for it. I'm very, very, very grateful to have gotten to do that. Nobody can fill his shoes. Nobody can even come close. I was just happy to be able to dance the same, dance in the same kind of room that he was in.
Thank you. Courtney also asked, this is for you, Colt, too, what was it like working with Pink?
Oh, she's the best. She's she's incredibly hardworking. She's the reason that I got into film and TV. Well, I should say you're the reason I got into film and TV. That is another story. But Pink, I remember I was at the O2 Arena. The beginning of our tour, we were strapped into this harness and we were raised like 30 feet up in the air, and she was attached to bungees that were below the stage. And at the top of the show, the curtain would fall and she'd spring out and fly into the air and we'd catch her. And I remember I was hanging upside, because we're upside down and we're hanging there, and the show starts and you hear 20,000 people go crazy. I mean, if you've seen speakers at a concert like that, they're bigger than a house, and they're on either side of the stage, and you can't hear the music because the people are so loud. And I remember we finished the number and I went back to the, dressing room, and I was like, I want to do what she's doing, not what I'm doing. Not meaning I want to be like the pop star of the century and the new Cher. I wanted to be able to give as much of my energy to my truth and my soul and to the world as she did every night. And she helped facilitate that. And she showed me that, look, you can do this as my backup dancer, and if you're not happy with it, go do what makes you happy. So working with her was amazing. She's a beautiful person. She's a beautiful parent. And she's very giving. Whatever hotel she stayed in, we stayed in.
She's an incredible person.
If we had the hotel for a night or for like 2 hours before we had to be at the venue, she'd get a hotel room for everybody. She treats her people incredibly well. And she, treated us like family. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Aram asked, what's a time something went wrong on stage? Someone forgot their lines, a prop broke, your mic went out, and what did you do?
Wow.
Fun question.
You've had a couple of those. Do you want to go first?
I want you to go first. I've been talking too much.
Oh my God. No, you're
Talk
perfect.
about your age. When you threw it.
Oh, yeah. I've had a couple problems. One time during Spamalot, the girls do this number where there's only like 6 of us, and we have these, the mage, right?
Mage? Is it a mace? Oh, a mace.
A mace, I think.
Where it's like a stick and it's got a chain and a big ball with spikes on the end of it.
Yeah, it takes place it's supposed to take place, King Arthur and all that stuff. And so we're swinging these balls and we're doing this like very sexy number, and there's all these batmas, and I am the center girl in the front, and I fling there's a wooden handle on it. It's like a nunchuck, basically. And I fling it right at our poor conductor, Ben Whiteley, and it get him right in the face. And he is just stops for a second, and everyone's trying to, it was rough. I have never felt so bad about anything. I mean, bad. I just flung him right in the face. So that was a hiccup.
Yeah.
I also one time, good thing like acrylics are kind of, acrylic nails are not as popular anymore. But I was doing Saturday Night Fever, and I played Connie, and I was dancing with Tony. I was right in the front, and we used to do this way before your time to see Saturday Night Fever, but we did this number called It's Your Neighborhood, and we had these lighters, and so we're dancing, and I'm in the front, and I'm feeling very sexy, powerful, and I'm like doing my thing, and all of a sudden my partner is Tony blowing my finger. I was like, Angelina, and he's like stopping. I'm like, what? And I see that my whole acrylic nail is on fire, burning, and it is burning and melting. And so I'm like, panicking as it burns down. So you just got to kind of go with it. There was a lot of putting it out and going with it.
I have 2 moments, and I'll tell you the first because of the second. Both of them are from Aladdin. I've had a bunch of moments, but my 2 favorites. So I'm on stage, and we have this scene where it's literally 2 of us on stage. It's Babcock and Kasim, and we're getting ready to go save Aladdin and help him. And I'm going to throw Zach under the bus here. Zach, who plays Babcock, just goes up on his lines and he's supposed to turn towards me and have a whole thing where he lists off things that he's allergic to. And then he starts yelling at me. And instead he goes, and you know what? And I just hear him breathing really heavy and he's not speaking and it's just the two of us and nobody else is on stage. And after about 10 seconds of him going, he just goes, Kasim. And I didn't know what to do. So I went, what? And there was no saving it. And so Omar just comes screaming on stage to push the scene along. So I'm laughing at him hysterically. I can barely get through the number. 2 weeks later, I have a big moment before one of our scenes. And I go up on my lines and I am the literal center focus on the stage.
No lines are
Nothing is happening. And like everybody is laughing. Zach just walks up and goes, okay, buddy. Okay. And drags me over to the side and then takes over and does it. That stuff happens so consistently. Don't worry about it. It's
live theater.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes it awesome. Like you just kind of go with it. The audience usually doesn't know what's going on.
High School Musical, somebody we were playing basketball on stage and somebody accidentally kicked a ball into the audience and hit an audience member in the face. That was pretty funny. You know, stuff happens. Just try to pretend like it's supposed to happen. Next question.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions. I'm going to pick one as our final question. And Madeline asked, how did you and Ange meet? You guys are so cute. I think it's a fun story.
Oh.
We were both cast in the last revival of West Side Story in 2009 with Arthur Lawrence and Joy McNeely.
Arthur Lawrence, who wrote the book West Side Story, and he was our director. And so we were in the last Broadway production before this new version of it. We were in the last original production.
Yeah, let's call it that. But I was a swing, so I covered all of the women in the ensemble, and Colt covered riff, and then he took over for Diesel. And it was...
Yeah, the short version of it is we were dance partners in rehearsal, and she was dating Bernardo, and I covered riff, and the fights were really spicy there for a while.
Spicy for a minute.
Because I ended up playing riff for a little bit, and this was once we were together, and she was Graciela, and I was riff, and he was Bernardo, and they used to date. Now we were dating.
It made for a real drama, but it added to the intensity, I guess.
Yeah, I've still got some scars. It was great. So yeah, that's how we met.
Thank you guys so much. We had one other question that I wanted to ask you guys, because I don't know the answer for you guys, but will you be doing any more masterclasses in the future in terms of singing and acting? I don't know what you guys are doing on your own, if you're doing anything.
We're always scheduled like all year long for all different things, especially when we're on our tour. I try to, we have so many schools that we connect with, so it's so great to be connected to you guys now. We do a lot of different kinds of master classes, and honestly, we try to get very specific about it. So, we have specifically like more dance schools and dance-based auditions and things, and we definitely always gear it towards like how will this apply in auditions in real life, So oftentimes we'll teach like the original choreography from the shows we've actually done on Broadway. In these, and we'll kind of try to run it like a more of a dance audition. And then we also do a lot of classes like this where we're, doing critiquing and whatnot of songs and monologues and things.
We don't have anything scheduled right now that we can like give you information on. We have schedules coming up, and we'll put them out on our social media. I think that's probably the best way to find out about it.
Yeah, and if you guys are working with the school or something like that, along with DPAC, reach out to us. If there's a group of you that want a specific kind of class, like we're always happy to, figure that out.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And as far as DPAC, we're always working to get more. We also don't have anything on the calendar yet, but I'm gonna put my email in the chat. If you guys have people you want to see, let me know, and I'm happy to try and get them. And I also put your full names in the chat so you guys can search them on Instagram.
Very, very cool.
Follow them.
Well, thank y'all very much for being here. And Taylor, thank you so much for setting this up and for.
Yeah, this was great.
It's always awesome.
Yeah, you guys were.
So much for your time.
Yeah, if everyone wants to unmute themselves and say thank you.